The second section of Donovan's essay is concerned with really answering the question set out in the introduction positively. To say, well, yes, we can form knowledge of God by religious experience. We can say that we just know, that the experience entitles us to say that we just know and that we can form knowledge claims about God. So the first sort of section that we're going to look at today is the real kind of layout of that argument in its kind of simple fashion. Because this sort of argument was made by a variety of mid-20th century theologians primarily, more than philosophers. Donovan says philosophers, but I'd say that nearly all of them are kind of exclusively theologians. And they form what could be called or described as an argument from intuition, an argument to say that we can just know. And they would say that on the basis of these experiences, on this just knowing, these intuitions, we can establish a knowledge of God. Now, in saying this, they're kind of rejecting the idea that we really need to have arguments. Arguments are secondary. The experience is sufficient. There is a little bit of an echo here to Schleiermacher from Westphal, just to make a note of that. Schleiermacher, if you recall, was saying that the sense of feeling, the feeling of absolute dependency, was the kernel of religion and not sort of metaphysics or theology or morality, as Kant had said. But anyway, Owen is the thinker that Donovan highlights here, and Owen uses this argument from analogy, and essentially he says that we know that we have reliable intuitions in everyday life. I mean, the two things that he highlights in particular, and this is important because we're going to come back to this in section 3, the two kind of types of intuitions, of reliable intuitions that he highlights are intuitions of perception, I know I have two hands type intuition, and the intuition regarding other minds, to say that, I know that A, you're a person and not just a robot, but also B, that I can form intuitions about whether you're happy, whether you're sad, or how you're feeling, and so on. And so we know we have reliable intuitions. Now, his next point is to say that we have similarities between these sorts of intuitions and intuitions regarding religion and faith. He highlights in particular mediated immediacy. Now that's a phrase I'm going to discuss in the next video, so I'll leave that there. But he draws a variety of parallels between the way that we form intuitions about other persons and the intuitions that we have of God, that God reveals himself through the world, through nature, through scripture, through Jesus Christ, his son. And on the basis of these kind of, present sort of revelations of God, we're able to form conclusions, things that we can say we just know. So putting this argument together, we can say, so in the first place, we have intuitions we consider reliable. Secondly, there are similarities between those reliable intuitions and intuitions that we have of God. Therefore, by inference, and this is an argument from analogy, we'll recognize from the design argument and so on, we are able to infer then that intuitions regarding religion are similarly reliable. And that's basically the argument from intuition. We'll say a little bit more about this in the next video.